afternoon, everybody. It's Denise DiGrigoli here at The Drive. Did you guys like that new music? We're trying out some new music for the show. Everybody knows that The Drive, and maybe everybody doesn't know if you're tuning in for the first time, is about all things that move us forward. How we fuel our mind, body, spirit creates the lifestyle we lead. And so we're returning today on this rainy day with some new music and some new things to move us forward. And if you were in last week or maybe the week before, we started talking about a few tips. One of the things I wanted to share with you today is I started using this app on my phone called Moments. Can you show that picture real quick, Eric, if you have it? Moments tracks the time you actually pick up your phone, use it, put it down, pick it up, use it. Interestingly enough, it helps you be a little more mindful for those times when you are sitting somewhere and you take 10 minutes to get lost on Facebook or maybe putting an order online and you realize, wow, at the end of the day, I spent 3 hours on my phone. So for mindful living this week, I'm going to say Moments, and I'm working with my trainer, Lucas, down at Sherpa, to be more mindful of what I'm putting in my mouth. So I like FitPal. FitPal is great because you can scan the barcodes on your food, and it can track not only your exercise, your food, and all the great things, and it really feels great without being intrusive. So those are the two tips for mind, body, and we're going to talk about spirit today. The spirit of community activism. Rob, help me out.
Activism works.
And more importantly, what these virtues of preparation, intuition, and commitment mean to someone that's dedicated their life not only as a public servant, but really making a difference in our community. So it's with great pleasure, and I'm so glad you're here today, Frank Lito, an attorney for Goldman, Grutter, and Woods, but more importantly, the president and the founder of Fighting Angels Foundation. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. So I was reading your background, and anybody that got my email would have seen that your awards are numerous. So tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from. I really want to hear about your role in this new foundation.
Okay. So I was born in Greenwich, Connecticut. I spent my early years growing up in Westchester County. My parents were divorced at an early age, so I spent some time in Westchester County, New York, Mount Kisco, and eventually moved to Monroe, where I now reside. I moved to Monroe in 5th grade, and I lived there. Graduated Massac High School.
In Monroe?
In Monroe.
Yeah.
In Monroe. Went on to college, went to Marist College. I played football at Marist. I transferred. I ended up graduating from Western New England College.
My brother went there. Isn't that funny?
It's becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
School's growing. Western New England College in Springfield, Massachusetts, and then went on to law school, Brooklyn Law School in the city. And my wife, who is also from Monroe, we had a wonderful opportunity to come back to Monroe and build a house in Monroe. We did that and raising our kids now in the town in which we both grew up.
That's a great town. And I know you do a lot of public service there, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But you kind of just skated over all of your collegiate awards and, of course, your magna cum laude, and you're pretty established. But beyond that, what I liked and we do a lot of sports broadcasting here. And what connected for me was the football and the varsity football and being the captain of the team. And then your comment or the comments in your bio about the virtues and the people you serve are people that are prepared, have intuition and commitment. Let's talk about those things a little bit because that really connects into what the drive's about.
Okay. Well, and it's difficult when you're writing a biography for a law firm.
Yeah.
You don't want
Right.
to focus too much on your athletic endeavors, and as you get older, West New England's a Division III football school. So as you learn very quickly, it's not a Division I program. It's not something you can look back on and brag about your athletic endeavors. But I think that for me, sports has always been extremely relevant to my life. Starting as a young man. I played multiple sports in high school, and in college I ended up being, like you said, the captain of the football team, and I thought that was very important and certainly a rewarding experience. But
Well, that speaks to leadership for sure.
and I think you don't, at least for me, you don't realize it at the time.
Right.
But looking back, there's so many great virtues that come from playing team sports, being part of a team, understanding how to lead, understanding winning and losing in life and how to cope with that and how to deal with that, understanding how to achieve certain things in certain situations where some situations may be more adversarial than others. So it's always been something that, in looking back, I've been fairly good at. I've always been a leader, and I've done it with humility along the way, and I think
That's a key word, isn't it?
That speaks volumes. Yes,
So I noticed that you coach your daughter's softball team. Is that correct?
that's correct.
And you coach a few other things. So back to your point, teaching winning and losing. Tell me a little bit about that. How do you impart that to our younger community? Because before we started, we were saying, well, school can be really crazy nowadays.
Right.
So what is it that you're doing to impart that?
I got to tell you, Denise, probably the most rewarding thing I have ever done, and I do on a daily basis, and I just sent an organizational type email out to my team. My girls softball team, we're based out of Monroe. We have a 10 and under team. I have 3 daughters, 10, 9, and 5. My 2 oldest daughters, 10 and 9, they play on this team. And so this is, I've been involved in coaching them in multiple sports for many years. And I'll tell you a quick story. It's pretty funny to me. When I was the captain of the baseball team in high school, at Massac, the baseball team is on the lower field and the softball team is on the upper field. So every time you walk to practice, you walk past the softball field down to the field. It's a pretty far walk. And on the way up after practice, you pass the softball field. So me and a few of my friends, now we're 18 years old or 17 years old, whatever we are, we're walking up from the baseball field with the equipment. Captains are the last one to come leave the field to make sure everybody leaves. We walk past the softball field at Massac, and I see a gentleman, probably about my age now, with 3 or 4 very young kids.
Yeah.
Back then, I thought they were younger than they were, but they were probably 9 or 10 years old. And I looked over at him and I said, "Look at the poor guy." And I'll tell you what, this memory has stuck in my head forever. And I said, "Look at that poor guy." I said, "He's got the girls on the field. Some of them are kicking the dirt. They're not paying attention. He wants them to pay attention.
Yeah.
He's trying so hard." And I said, "What did he do to be punished like this?"
Yeah.
It's 18 years old.
Yeah. How the perspectives
And
change.
it's amazing because I'll tell you what, I can't say that I've ever remembered that exact thought. I could see it in my mind like clear as day, until I was blessed with my 3 daughters,
Yes.
and then find myself in the position of softball. Like, we should consider playing softball. That's very close to baseball. I can relate to that. That's something I can teach them. My daughter's involved in, for instance, gymnastics.
Yeah.
I've never flipped around a bar in my entire life. I can't lend any help to that sport. I never played soccer, so they play soccer. I couldn't really help them. Baseball is something that I knew fairly well. So I decided to get involved with them and in softball. And I'll tell you that thought didn't take long for that thought to pop right back into my head. I said, now I'm that guy, and by no means was he being punished. It's the most rewarding experience that I have on a daily basis. And as I said back to the email, I sent an email to the entire team, and I said, these are my thoughts, because I'm always the one quality that I have, and I do think is most important, is to be honest. Always, always be honest. Always tell it like it is. Some people think that's a good virtue. Others think brutal honesty is passing judgment on others, and they don't take it so kindly.
You and I follow the same path. I'm brutally honest too. Absolutely.
And sometimes to a fault.
Yeah, I get in trouble.
But I think it's important that you do it with in a certain way with children and with their parents. And and as
Ooh.
I said, coaching, it's the most rewarding experience I've had. I've heard a lot of horror stories. I have been very lucky, knock on wood. I haven't had any parents think that my style has been anything but great for their kids. And I'll tell you, it's something I enjoy on a daily basis.
So I guess I roll back around to the question, aside from helicopter parents and all the labels that we could apply to things, I think it's challenging nowadays with all the outside distractions that come into our kids. Like, how do we teach them real life? And we live in a part of the world that's, pretty successful, right? And they're the difference between the have and the have-nots are wide, and that's probably why you do so much community service. So how do we teach our kids or how do you coach them that it's okay to win and how to be, and it's okay to lose, and how to be, beyond the traditional good sport? Like, what are they doing in your camp over there? Because wait, everyone, you have to know that he's also a litigation attorney. I mean, he's not just you have a pretty tough job as a prosecutor.
Right.
So it's an interesting personality. I want to hear like how you teach that.
That's a good question. I think, I'm learning. I'm learning every single day on how to relate to children as they get older. They have new challenges emotionally, especially with girls.
Yeah.
But
We said that before we started.
Yeah, we have lots of women in my house between my wife and my 3 girls. I do have a male dog, so that's one buddy I
My
have in the house.
husband's outnumbered too. Totally outnumbered.
But I think, like I said, team sports. It's as you indicated earlier on. It's preparation, and we try to instill upon the girls that everything you do on a daily basis, whether it's in practice, whether it's in preparation for practice, how you get ready for practice, there's always somebody watching, whether it's a coach, whether it's a player on the other team, whether it's a player on your own team, whether it's a parent. And we don't do that to say you're in the spotlight, but it's I think the sense that they're starting to really learn at age 10, and it's getting, hopefully it stays with them, is everything you do in preparing breeds success. No matter it's how you tie your shoe, you should be tying your shoes the same way every single time. Warm up, create a routine, and just work as hard as you possibly can. And I got to be honest, we don't have the greatest team. We're not the predominant girls 10-year-old softball team in the state of Connecticut. But I can tell you that we've received, and this is kudos to the coaches, the other parents that are coaches with me, and the girls that, and we just had our last game last week, and we received 3 or 4 compliments from parents of soccer players that were playing on the field next to us.
Wow.
They wanted to know what we were, who we were, and I can tell you, I don't know what you were doing, but you looked very prepared out there. So, and I told the girls that, and I think that's important. So I think preparation, and again, thinking back on my athletic career, and I think about it every day, is if, the way you prepare in sports, and I think the team sports especially so, where you have to deal with different personalities on your team, support them on the field, but maybe you have different values and virtues and visions off the field, but you're still a team always. And if you prepare properly for sport, like you do in life, like you do in sports, you'll be successful.
And I think probably your kids see how committed you are, and that, of course, flows over and flows to them.
Yep.
So what does it take to do all that you do? Tell us a little bit about your community service, because you are a busy, busy guy.
I am. I'm very proud to say that I'm the founder and president of Fighting Angels Foundation, which is hopefully will be a public charity once the IRS approves us on our application.
Is that in the works?
It is in the works.
Okay,
so we have
great.
application pending, but we are not a new charity. We wanted to be sure that we were well established before we went down that road. So we are in just beyond our 2-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
We have been super successful. We sprang to action very quickly. I have a great group of friends. One of my best friends growing up, he and his brother and I were always considered brothers growing up in town, to the point that we started lying to people and stopped telling them, no, that's not my friend, that's my brother, because it was just too much small talk and confusing. We were on vacation together in Lake George, and he received a phone call from his neurologist. His son had been undergoing testing for developmental delays, and he learned that he had a syndrome called Angelman syndrome. His name is Joey Moretti, and he was our inspiration, and not to get into too much detail, but not having, all of us have iPhones or some type of multimedia option. Every single one of us on vacation, there was 35 of us or 40 of us together, immediately jumped on our phone and started trying to find out what this was, what did it mean, including the parents. And we knew that in order to do something to help, we had to spring to action. So we created the foundation in September 2 years ago. And we've just full steam ahead. We've 3 major events. We've raised, I don't know the exact number because we're about to have our meeting, but we've raised, I think, over $200,000 now. We recently gave a $50,000 medical research grant to UConn Health Center and Dr. Stormy Chamberlain. We presented that award at our March dinner this past year. And we're excited to have our 3rd annual fundraising gala at on March 12th at Testo's Restaurants. We're very excited about that, and we hope to be in a position financially to give another large grant to medical research. But it's been, along with coaching, it's been extremely rewarding. It's something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to give back, and
So you started this because your friend's son
that's correct.
was diagnosed with this neurological disorder.
Correct.
And so again, that's very committed, very motivated, and very intuitive, I would say. Now, let me ask you this. How is Joey doing?
Joey's doing fabulous.
Yeah, because I saw some pictures of him on the internet. He looked like he was doing wonderful.
He has a great support, supportive family, friends, and community around him, and he's doing great. I actually we saw him for his 4th birthday over the weekend.
Okay.
We just had our charity run in Milford, and I'm proud to say that through all of the work that his parents have been doing and the people around him, Joey was able to take the last 15 or 20 steps across the finish line in front of everybody at the run. And if you know about Angelman syndrome, these children are developmentally delayed, both physically, intellectually.
And they don't speak, right?
They don't speak, and they rarely are able to walk because of balance disorders, and they're wrought with seizure issues that they have. And Joey recently learned to walk, and he's been developing fabulous.
That's
So
what I saw
it's
on there.
great to see.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break, guys, and we're going to put up the foundation's website. I encourage you to go take a look, check it out. There it is, Fighting Angels Foundation. There's Joey, and we'll be right back in a couple of minutes. The Drive with Denise DiGrigoli. Thanks for tuning in. That's it. That's how simple it is.
I appreciate it.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances, where community comes first, a place where there's more than one kind of interest, where automation will never replace consideration, where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
Tired of all the bull? Relax and enjoy the experience of buying a car at Panby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram. No bull allowed.
Back to school means back to busy, and Stewart's Market can save you precious time by stocking all of your favorite essentials under one roof. For a healthy start to school, we have all the ingredients. Walter Stewart's, your family-owned fresh local market, 229 Elm Street and at stewartsmarket.com.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Welcome back, guys. It's Denise DiGrigoli at The Drive here on HAN Network every Tuesday at 12:30. It's a talk show, motivational talk show about all things that move us forward, how we fuel our mind, body, spirit, creates the lifestyle we lead. And hopefully you'll leave here today with something that moves you forward. So glad to have Frank Lito. We're talking about the Fighting Angels Foundation and his community activism. That's where we left off. I want to ask you, how many children in the area have this chromosomal disorder? Do you know?
I don't know the exact number, but I'll tell you that's a good question. One of the most rewarding experiences of the foundation, and which has really proven our development to at least the board, because it's you start the foundation and then you you wonder, where are we going with this?
Right.
And it's important for you and everybody to know that we made a very big decision with Fighting Angels Foundation in making this a public charity that is really geared towards finding a cure. And I get slapped on the wrist sometimes by some of the medical professionals that encourage me not to use those terms, but we really believe that we can find a cure. And it's not about Joey. Joey's been our inspiration, but they benefit very little from the foundation as a whole. We really are hoping to raise enough money to really make a difference in finding a cure for Angelman syndrome. We have done other things as well for some other families throughout the nation, but what it's really brought out is all of the Angelman families in the state of Connecticut that are local. Last year, thanks to our state representative in Monroe, J.P. Strudinsky, he helped us establish a Angelman Awareness Day, and we went up to Hartford for the day, and it was a really beautiful ceremony, and we invited all of the Angelman families in Connecticut and their representatives to come to Hartford with us to really enjoy a day. And it was a really special day. And as I said, we have a run every year in Milford, and a lot of families come down, and it's really grown. And it's great to see those families, and it really has been an opportunity for those families to come together and share their stories and experiences.
Sure, it probably helps them move forward, right?
Absolutely.
They can share experiences. So why do you think the medical community gives you the slap on the wrist and says we probably won't find a cure? That seems weird to me.
Because I think they're doctors and they're realists, and I it's an uphill battle. I mean, Angelman syndrome allows these children, and if you ever meet a child afflicted with Angelman syndrome, they're very happy.
Yeah.
They're always smiling. They put a smile on your face as they bring a tear to your eye. They live full lives, but they're extremely disabled. And because of that, unfortunately,
That's hard.
the syndrome doesn't get the support financially. Their drugs don't get fast-tracked because of the longevity of life, and there's not an immediate need for fast-tracking some of these drugs and some of this testing. But ironically, we're lucky to have UConn right in our backyard, and to be honest, we didn't know that UConn was at the forefront of research, genetic research for Angelman syndrome, until we were informed through a parent organization, a larger organization called ASF in California.
Wow.
We called California and we said, we have some money, we'd like to put it towards a grant. We know you have a huge medical team, we want to make a difference, we don't want to waste our money.
Right.
What do you suggest? He said, I suggest you drive about 20 minutes up the road in your backyard to UConn, because some of the best doctors in the entire world are right there at UConn.
Wow.
So when we went to UConn, they were very, like I said, Dr. Stormy Chamberlain, I picked up the phone, I unsolicited just called her, she said, come on up, tour the lab, we did. And we've been a huge supporter of hers ever since. And we said, well, how come we've never heard of this? I've lived in Connecticut essentially my whole life, all of us. She just said, it's not something that gets a lot of publicity. It's just not, it's not a word that you hear very often.
What was the testing that was used to find out? Is it blood testing? Is it?
It's a genetic blood testing. The syndrome is essentially a genetic mapping. Most children afflicted with Angelman, I think the statistic is over 70%, have a deleted chromosome 15. At least a segment of the maternal chromosome 15 is deleted. There's other forms, there's a mutated gene and other forms that are very technical medically, but most of them have Joey has a deleted
So it's a genetic
chromosome.
thing.
So it's a deleted chromosome 15. It's a chromosomal genetic issue. It's not.
So is there an upcoming event we should tell everyone about?
Our next event is we have our annual gala. It's held at Testo's Restaurant every single year, March 12th
March
this year,
12th, okay.
2016. So it's
Yep.
coming up. It's right around the corner for us.
Yeah.
And we have a huge support. It's a beautiful dinner, and we try to make it a great night out for husband and wife.
Is
and
it dancing?
It's a dancing dinner. And it's a really nice type of red carpet. Not a black tie event yet, but we're getting there.
All right, we're moving there. So how did your friend feel that you started this, that you were proactive and you did this?
They've been, words can't express on how thankful they've been. They've been great advisors to the board. Our board is made up of primarily friends. We just added 2 new board members. We have 8 now. But it's given them the courage, I think, to really attack this, and they've already been obligated to do so, and they're great parents. They do everything they can do for Joey. The mom, Taina Moretti, she's so active in the community with consistently trying to find out what's best for Joey, where to go. and we hope to be able to help them with our awareness.
So resources and that kind of
Exactly
stuff.
correct.
Yeah.
Exactly correct.
What a wonderful foundation. As you move forward, tell me where you're going to take the organization. Is it going to stay local? Is it going to go national? Because when you're looking for a massive cure,
Right.
it's got to be beyond our walls of Connecticut, right?
Exactly, and that's we last year had a great experience. We created a few awards. We gave a $5,000 in-kind donation to a family out of Chicago.
Wow.
We had an essay submission as to what type of products, because you're always weary of just giving financial gifts. What type of products would help your family cope with the syndrome? And we had wonderful
What did they
submissions.
say?
They submitted a beautiful story about their son. They have 3 children, 2 older sons and their youngest son, his name is Cooper. They call him Super Cooper, and he's afflicted with Angelman. And all he wants to do is ride a bike with his brothers, his big brothers, but he can't because he would require an adaptive bicycle, and it's very expensive. But the family had already gone out and done the research and knew the bicycle, and they had been saving up for it. So for us, it was a great opportunity to make an immediate impact. So we did. We purchased a bicycle. It was about $5,000. We flew the family in from Chicago to our gala last
Wow.
March, and we presented them with the award. And they brought.
Was the child there?
He wasn't able to come, but they brought pictures of him enjoying the bike. So it was just wonderful.
Isn't
I mean,
that
thinking about
great?
it breaks me up now, but that was truly the first experience we've had nationally. And my vision, and I think my board shares it with me, is more of a grassroots
Yeah.
type of campaign where we have 3 events. We have a golf tournament, a dinner, and a run that allows us to raise about $100,000 per year. And like you said, we're fairly capped around that number unless we really expand. So my vision is to take our idea, find other families in other communities throughout the country and the world, for that matter, give them our blueprint
Right.
for what we do, and expand that way, almost like a franchise type
Like,
model
let
where
them
they can run the
facilitate it.
same events. We'll help them set them up. We can even, use license some of our logos and things of that nature, and really help them set it up. And
Is this something genetically that could be changed in utero, you think?
It's interesting. The research and the tour of the lab was amazing, truly
Yeah.
amazing. The gene is a UBE3A gene, and
Wow.
It's also, that gene they're finding is also tied to autism, which obviously has a broader spectrum. But they're very confident that someday they're going to be able to figure out how to, because we're talking about a deleted chromosome.
Right.
If they can somehow synthetically
Put it back.
put it back. And they don't think they ever can completely put it back, but they may be able to slow down some of the developmental delays and make these children more functional. So,
That's incredible work you do. So tell me, that alone is a full-time job, never mind coaching and 3 kids and your practice. But you do some community work in Monroe.
I do.
And and you also service families in need, pro bono.
Right.
Tell us about that and what drives you. Like, what do you do and where do you get the drive?
Well, I'm involved politically in Monroe. I've been a member of the town council. I'm now the chairman of the town council of Monroe, which takes a lot of time, but it's very rewarding.
I hope Monroe is retweeting this nonstop.
It's very rewarding experience. We have a great community, and it's really a pleasure. Sometimes politics gets the wrong message out there during election time. We just had it. Sometimes it's very divisive, but if you really peel away the layers when you're talking about small town politics, there's very little room for very different ideologies. I mean,
Right.
you're talking about the same thing. Everybody is doing this because they care about the community.
Yeah.
Whether you're Republican, unaffiliated, or Democrat, it doesn't really matter. And it's amazing some of the resumes, just some of the talent you have, and these people that you would never otherwise meet that come out and they just want to give back to their community. We have CEOs of large, Fortune 500 companies, people in finance, lawyers, doctors. It's amazing. So I love doing that. Giving back is something that I think everybody needs to do at some point in their life.
Did somebody train you to do that?
No.
You
No,
just
and I
did
can
it.
tell you, I've never. It's not a knock on my upbringing or my parents. Like I said, I had a single mom. My mother, how she brought up 2 kids like she did is amazing to me. I'll
sure.
never understand it. She
It's
did
hard
an amazing
work.
job. So there was barely time to raise her children and put food on the table. There wasn't time for philanthropy.
Right.
I don't know what motivated me. I think if you get a taste of it,
Yeah.
somehow, some way along the way, I got a taste of just giving back, and to put a smile on someone else's face, it's infectious.
Yeah, very. I hear you on that. So, beyond your public life in Monroe, when we come back, I want to talk about the public service work you do as an attorney. We share something in common. I chaired a Habitat for Humanity event. So we're going to be right back, guys. It's The Drive with Denise DiGrigoli, Frank Lito, the president and founder of Fighting Angels Foundation. Thank you, Frank.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthegame.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
In Pound Ridge since 1993, the Wine Connection is one of America's best wine shops. Visit our beautiful store for the greatest in wine and knowledgeable service. With wonderful values from around the world to collectibles for your cellar, we are your one-stop source. Visit our online shop at wineconn.com and make sure to sign up for email updates. With great offers, new arrivals, and special events, don't miss all the action at The Wine Connection, including tastings every weekend. The Wine Connection, located at 32 Westchester Avenue, Pound Ridge, New York.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. And online at stratfordsmile.com.
The fall bite is heating up. Albies, bonita, blackfish, alligator blues, and stripers are following the large schools of bait in the Long Island Sound. This is the time to visit the New England coast, and the Dock Shop can get you outfitted with the latest fishing gear, jackets, hats, gloves, and fleece. Boater, beach bum, fishermen simply love the New England coast. This is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, now in 2 locations, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
We're back. It's The Drive with Denise DiGrigoli, and we're talking about things that move us forward, either ourselves and or our community, and how we fuel our life creates, how we fuel our mind, body, spirit creates the life we live. And I'm still talking with Frank, who is an attorney here in Trumbull, Monroe resident, married, 3 fabulous daughters, coaches the softball team, and is the founding president of Fighting Angels Foundation.
Right.
So you're doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You are helping people also in need pro bono in your legal practice.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what that's like around here. Is that a little crazy?
It is.
Yeah, that's got to be a little crazy.
Yeah, it's. I'll tell you, it's something.
This-
If you're talking about pro bono work, the law schools do a very good job of making you understand the need and fairly being very willing and feeling almost obligated to give back coming out of school. So they do a very good job with that, recognizing the need, because I think otherwise, when you're talking about public service, you rarely think about it in line with your own profession. Usually it's you doing something else. And so I had a great opportunity to work with Habitat for Humanity on a pro bono
When did you do that?
I did that most recently a year and a half ago. I think my services ended, but they were ongoing for some time. But that was very rewarding to give back to them. And we do a lot of pro bono, obviously, work all the time. I do a lot of foreclosure defense work, and I've been doing a lot of that for the last 6 or 7 years. Really created a nice niche doing that, and so there's a lot of opportunity to help individuals out and give back in that regard. sometimes more than others, but always giving advice out, always helping.
Well, you seem like a very balanced person, very passionate, very driven, very, of course, family-oriented and community-oriented. So how do you juggle that with being a prosecutor?
That's good. I'm not a prosecutor. I'm an attorney, but we
Are you
prosecute
tough?
cases.
Are you tough? Are you a tough guy?
I don't know. I don't know. The mirror doesn't tell me that, but if you ask my wife that, she'd tell you I'm very tough.
Well, we say that about all our husbands.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like I said, I think I'm very forward. I'm very honest.
So it's the honesty.
And I think some people perceive that to be tough or difficult at times, but I try not to be overly difficult.
Then my next career is going to be an attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We use the term in law we use the term over lawyering, which I think lawyers tend to believe that sometimes you can be too much of a lawyer and cause too much interference and not try to, our goal is to reach a resolution no matter what we're doing, whether it's litigation or a transactional deal. You want to reach a resolution. Sometimes it's not best for everybody, but it's usually the best way to achieve an end. For me, I think the balance is in the public service, to be honest with you. And I think that really is what motivates me and drives me on town council and in public service, because it's truly a professional escape from the reality of your job.
Yeah.
On a daily, when I go to work, when I get up in the morning, I'm an attorney.
Right.
I have an obligation to my partners. I have an obligation to my family. I have an obligation to my clients to do what I have to do for them. And thankfully, although it does intermingle throughout the day, generally the philanthropy and the other things I do are after work.
Yeah.
And
the things you love are after work?
It's another life,
Yeah.
but some of it is very professional, and some of it is very casual. So, for instance, town council is very formal and very professional, which lends well to being an attorney. And then, coaching is very casual. The foundation is both. It's formal and casual. So I think that helps me balance. To be honest with you, I don't. It's not too often where I'm sitting on a couch like this. This is a lot of rest for me.
Thanks for coming in today. It was hard to pin you down. So what's on the next list of intentions? Like, where are you going? Where are you going with all of your community work and the things that inspire you so much?
Mm-hmm.
Is there another big? Are you?
The foundation is the sky's the limit with the foundation. So it's always something that really drives me. I've always been intrigued. Politics, actually. I was always intrigued in politics growing up for some reason, and that's what actually drove me to go to law school. And I didn't, it wasn't the other way around. And
are we going to see you run for president one day?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not president. This show is enough spotlight for me. So. No, maybe a higher office someday when I don't have so much family need. I don't think I could balance that time. But I don't know. I enjoy what I do. I think my schedule in life is full. It's fulfilling. It's full. I want to be there. One thing I always said is I want to be there every step of the way for my children, so I can soak that up and enjoy every moment. As I said before the show, I was having lunch with my daughter at her elementary school, my little 5-year-old, and it just puts a smile on your face. So,
and before you know it, poof, they're off to college.
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully not, but
yeah, hopefully not.
That's what I'm told.
Yeah, right. So how does someone like you relax? What do you do for yourself to relax? You meditate? You play football?
I work out.
You work out?
I work out. And I can tell you that life was very busy after law school. Sports and athletics has always been something that have helped me take my mind off, not necessarily competitive sports, because after college I didn't play anything very competitive, but I've always been athletic and active. I played men's adult softball. I played football up until this year. I finally retired at 39. I think that was a good move.
Wow, you played football a good long time.
And my close friends still play, and if they watch this on TV, they're going to tell me they're still trying to get me to come out.
Get back in.
They're still trying to get me to come out. Every day they try to get me to come out. But I recently reintroduced myself to the gym, something that I know very well, and that's been fabulous, absolutely wonderful, and you don't realize it. You don't realize the need, but you have to make time for stuff like that. You have to make time for yourself, and that's what I'm realizing. You have to make time for yourself, and you have to make time for your family.
That kind of refuels you,
it
right?
Does.
You have to refuel when you're constantly giving energy out and doing a lot of public service work and things that you're really passionate about. You have to refuel.
Yeah.
And so it's in that refueling that you probably inspire others.
You don't realize it. I mean, I can look back to prior to getting involved in politics and all the other community endeavors. My kids were very small, so all I knew was work, and I would work. And it's not a bad virtue. I'm always someone that had to keep busy, but I also let things like the gym go by the wayside, and I would work and eat and wake up, work and eat. And when I had my daughter was born, I was like, that was the greatest day of my life. You don't realize how much joy you're going to get out of that present, that present it's going to keep giving back to you. But it really changes your perspective on
Big
life.
time.
Yeah.
And then I think, too, it's good to recognize that you need to be a priority to yourself, only so you can keep giving to them, right?
Absolutely, correct.
Because it's all about moving them forward, too.
Correct.
So I'm so appreciative that you joined us today, and I hope everyone has enjoyed the show. You can find us on hannetwork.com. We're available for podcast later. No.
Live.hn.network.
What did I say?
Live.com.
There's no .com. Oh, mamma mia. I will get it right one
What's
day.
the world coming to?
Yeah,
No
right.
.com anymore.
Live.han.network. Okay. And you can also find the Fighting Angels Foundation at fightingangelsfoundation.org.
.com.
.com. Okay, that's a .com. Until it becomes a .org.
Might be .org also. I don't know.
All right, we don't know. All right, we'll see you back here next Tuesday. It's The Drive with Denise DiGrigoli, and thanks, Frank, for coming in today.
Thank you so
Really
much for having me.
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it.